This week on American Rifleman Television, we're back in Anoka, Minnesota at Fred Oil Premium. I'm here with Johan Bowden. Can you give us a little overview of what products we're going to be evaluating?
Sure, Aaron. First and foremost, we want to introduce or show the Guard Dog, which is a round that has its roots in the expanding full metal jacket technology that we developed quite a few years back. The intent was to show or enable the advantage of a hollow point without having a hollow point. Hollow points have some disadvantages. A, they cannot feed very well in sensitive guns, and B, some jurisdictions do not allow them. Furthermore, you can plug a hollow point with materials such as t-shirt, sheetrock, etc. When you have a closed bullet, it won't plug up. The expanding full metal jacket technology of the Guard Dog enables this bullet to expand in diameter without having a hollow point in the nose. So we're thinking we're going to deliver the best of both worlds.
Now, what is the second load?
The second load to be introduced here and shot through the full protocol will be the bullet known as the HST. This is a bullet with a lot of street cred, a lot of street proven results. It's a very well proven performer in law enforcement circles that is now becoming available to the armed citizen.
Well, let's get started first with Guard Dog.
Okay.
For the Guard Dog, when it was developed, the EFMJ, one of the things that we were trying to do with it was to get it to expand very reliably. And one of the problems you have with conventional hollow point is it plugs up with the either the clothing or the drywall, whatever it is that you're shooting through from a barrier standpoint. So with the EFMJ, what we did is we put rubber inside of that jacket. And what that allows you to do is it no longer requires hydraulic pressure like a conventional hollow point does. Conventional hollow point with that front end, it relies on the hydraulic pressure from the fluid to open and push against the sidewall to open it up. The EFMJ, actually, the rubber itself will take any force that's on the front and make that expand.
Now, we just shot a Guard Dog round. Can you explain what we're looking at here?
What we're trying to achieve with the Guard Dog round is to enable the person who's forced to defend himself, herself, to launch a projectile that effectively reaches the vital organs of the attacker without risking over-penetration and thereby risking uninvolved over-penetrating, especially in a house or urban type dwelling. And the sweet spot, if you so will, is the 12-inch mark that we're trying to achieve. In other words, 12 inches enables me to reach the vital organ from any angle it might be coming from without grossly over-penetrating. And we think we have struck that balance.
Okay. Now, expansion-wise, what are we looking at? 1.5, 2 times?
We're aiming for a minimum goal of 1.5 times original caliber. And the strong suit of the Guard Dog is it is not a hollow point that is dependent upon liquid tissue getting into the cavity to open the projectile. This is a closed projectile that opens upon impact by compressing a rubber component behind the nose. So even if you were to miss your target and you hit a wall, etc., the projectile will still open up, deform, and thereby slow down penetration.
Okay. And this round was just fired through 2 layers of drywall, so let's dig it out and see what it looks like.
What you have here is a round that deformed upon impact, thereby increasing its surface area and mitigating penetration in the tissue of the opponent.
One of the things we do across all of our product lines is we have a specific product for a specific customer. In the area of self-defense, that can mean a specialized option like our Guard Dog. And we brought that into the market because we saw a need for in-home defense. And a lot of hollow points will plug up in wallboard and over-penetrate and go through several walls. Well, that expanding full metal jacket won't do that. So there's an instance where in the premium line we have the EFMJ technology, but in our standard option for other areas or for people that are out and about quite a bit, we've got our standard jacketed hollow point.
Can't get enough American Rifleman? Check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay, we just wrapped up testing Guard Dogs, and now we're going to move on to HST. Now, can you explain to our viewers what to expect from HST through the different barriers?
Sure, Aaron. The HST bullet is known for extreme, consistent expansion. When you're looking for a bullet that does a very good job defeating all FBI protocol barriers, yet still maintaining excellent expansion and getting to the right depth. That is probably one of the highest regarded bullets out there. It has a lot of street credibility. It's street proven over the years. Now it's available to everybody.
And this isn't a new bullet. It's been around.
It's been around, yes. It has a long track record. It's a very well proven bullet. And you know, the beauty of it is its consistency. You usually have a very strong performer in bare gel that then fails in auto glass or vice versa. This bullet will show you very consistent behavior all the way through.
Okay.
Very predictable.
As for testing, can you explain what's going to happen with testing?
We would, I think we should run through the entire FBI protocol test, which would include bare gelatin, sheetrock, heavy clothing, steel, plywood, and the toughest one of them all, which is laminated automotive windshield glass.
So when we developed the HST line, the purpose there was to take the performance to the highest level we could with a conventionally made bullet. There are some bullets that are more expensive with bonding and things that you can do, but the goal of the HST was let's take a conventional bullet technology, and optimize it to the best we can. When you look at terminal performance and effectiveness, one of the things you're looking for is a bullet that expands. The larger diameter you can get, the better it works. But of course, you need to have a certain amount of penetration in order for it to be effective. So one of the things we did with the HST is if you look at the upset, it has petals that are on it. And so there's petals and there's valleys in the bullet itself. And what that allows you to do is when you measure, you have a much larger effective diameter, but the cross-sectional area is lower. Cross-sectional area being lower allows that bullet to have large diameter but still have the deep penetration.
Okay, Johan, we've done most of the testing. Now we're to the final one. We've gone through drywall, plywood, sheet steel, bare gelatin, clothing. Can you explain what's going on here?
You're absolutely right, Aaron. The windshield, the laminated automotive windshield portion of the FBI protocol test is really the test that we refer to as what separates the men from the boys. Glass is so hard, it tends to shred bullet material. It tends to pull off jackets. When you have a bullet that succeeds here, then you know you have a winning combination.
Now, we spoke about it earlier, but this is really where development begins, right?
You're absolutely right. This is probably the highest bar, you know, as it comes in the entire FBI protocol. If you have a bullet that does very well here, you have less work to do to get a winning bullet in the other attributes of the test. So this is the highest bar in the entire test.
And what should we expect when we're shooting here?
In a projectile like this, I would be very happy to see solid performance penetrating to 12 inches, high weight retention, and 1.5 times original caliber size. So we still want expansion to stop the bullet on time, but we cannot give up enough mass or energy to stop the bullet too early, because again, we have to reach the vital organs to stop the threat.
Okay.
When you look into the personal defense market, shooting through autos is not a very high likelihood. So the additional cost of really performing through that one barrier doesn't warrant for the majority of people to go through that extra expense to buy a bonded product. Now in our HST, what we've done is we actually have a mechanical locking band where we've taken the jacket, we've squeezed it in, and so if you look at the cross section of that, we have a mechanical lock that tries to retain that core. And through auto glass, that difficult barrier, we actually are retaining, depending on the bullet and velocity, it's related, but in general, we're 50 to 80% of the time, our core and jacket hold together just like a bonded bullet does, but you don't have the added cost.
Okay, Aaron, this concludes the protocol test. We just finished shooting the toughest one of them all, the automotive windshield. And as you can see, glass, hard as it is, beats a bullet up, but what you want to avoid is that a bullet drops its jacket. When a bullet loses a lot of material, it loses weight. It loses weight, it loses momentum, which means you're giving up necessary penetration. So it's most important that a bullet has as high as possible weight retention when defeating auto glass. And you can see here, we still have a big chunk of bullet. It stayed together, it did not give up any pieces, did not break up. And stopped at 11.5 inches, which is really, again, that sweet spot that we're looking for to once again reach the vital organs what angle we may be coming from.
Okay. Well, looking at the different testing, obviously this was the most difficult, but sheet steel, pretty difficult on those bullets. So you can see this bullet performed very well all through the testing.
It's a very well-balanced very consistent bullet, yes. You know, it doesn't need a lot of power, it doesn't need a lot of recoil generation to achieve what it does. And through all the listed media, it delivers very consistent penetration, expansion, and weight retention all the way through.
And are there law enforcement agencies using this?
All over the U.S. The HST is one of the true proven performers in law enforcement, yes. And this year is a first where this proven bullet gets into the hands of the civilian.
Well, you can, from the testing here, you can see why they would select it.
I would agree.